Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me call the Malden City Council meeting to order. Would you please all rise to salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you please all remain standing for a moment of silence as we honor our service personnel, and in particular those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Condon. Crow. DeMaria. Linehan. Murphy. O'Malley. Sika. Spadafora. Winslow. Anderson.
Anderson here. Under the provisions of the open meeting law, for those of you in attendance, please be informed that Urban Media Arts will be recording this evening's meeting, so please be aware that there'll be audio and video recordings of this meeting. First order of business.
With papers 517-21, minutes of the meeting of November 9, 2021, and paper 518-21, minutes of the meeting of November 16, 2021.
We have a motion. Thank you. Whoever was here at the last meeting and have changed the names on this, where's our IT person? Have we got an IT person here this evening? Let's see. Let's see, John King made that motion, and Kathy Bartlett seconded that.
I'll try to get Anthony here, but you might have to.
Yeah, okay. So who did make that motion? Councilor Winslow's motion, seconded by Councilor DeMaria, to accept those minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Those minutes are accepted. Next order of business.
Paper 519-21, mayoral appointment, Eric Rubin, 5 Sullivan Circle, Stoneham, as Director of Public Facilities, said term to expire December 31st, 2024.
Councilor Crowe. On Councilor Crowe's motion that we refer this nomination to the Appointments Committee, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. That appointment will be referred to committee. Next order of business. Do we have any citizen input? Or? No. Okay. Next order of business.
We have several licenses that are going to get referred.
Okay.
Read them all.
So why don't you read them in batches, if you will, please?
Okay. We'll do the Class 2 licenses first. Paper 521-21, Class 2, Richards Motors Cars, Inc., 672 Broadway, 80 vehicles. It's a renewal. Paper 522-21, Class 2, Auto Bazaar Corporation, 17 Charles Street, 21 vehicles. It's a renewal. Paper 523-21, Class 2, Quality Auto Sales, Inc., 856 Eastern Ave, 0 vehicles. It's a renewal. Paper 524-21, Class 2, Sega Auto Sales and Service, 449 Ferry Street. Previously had a license for 15 cars. New application requests 26 vehicles. 11 additional vehicles. Paper 525-21, Class 2, Seeker Automotive, 1114 Eastern Ave, 2 vehicles. It's a renewal. Paper 527-21, Class 2, Prestige Motors of Malden, 600 Broadway, 67 vehicles. It's a renewal. Paper 528-21, Class 2, Andy Service Center, 356 Lebanon Street, 3 vehicles. It's a renewal.
On Councilor Condon's motion that we refer these licenses to committee, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Those licenses have been referred to committee. Next order of business.
Paper 532-21, Amusement Machines, Pearl Street Station, Albin Inc., 53 Summer Street, 2 machines. It's a renewal.
On Councilor Condon's motion that we refer that application to committee, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. That license will be referred to committee. Next order of business.
Paper 533-21, Extended hours, Honeydew Donuts, 691 Eastern Ave, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days, it's a renewal.
On Councilor Condon's motion that we refer that to License Committee. All those in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. That license is referred to committee. Next order of business.
In paper 534-21, Lodging House, Top Tier Properties LLC, Sir Carlton, 33 Maple Street, 44 units.
On Councilor Condon's motion that we refer this to License Committee. All those in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. License is referred to committee. Next order of business.
Paper 520-21, resolved that it is the sense of the City Council that the Malden Skate Park, Malden Skate Park located at 84 Willow Street to be renamed to the Christopher Simonelli Skate Park.
Thank you. Councilors, do you mind if I speak from the chair, or would you like me to step down? Okay. Any objection for me speaking from the chair, since it's the paper that I put on the docket tonight? You know, oftentimes councilors don't get the recognition that is deserved of you and us while we're in office. And before I leave office, I wanted to make sure that that the person who preceded me, as well as that person who's going to succeed me after here, is recognized for a very significant thing that he did in creating and helping to create what we all know as the skate park, which is down on Willow Street. When Chris Simonelli was this councilor in Ward 7, this is back in the 80s, there was a real issue going on with skateboarding, which was beginning to pick up in popularity. And as it was picking up in popularity, we found people skateboarding all over the place. I know we had problems down at Suffolk Manor, for example, where many of the elderly live, and the skateboarders would be, you know, skating all throughout their property, and it was just disruptive, and there was a need to do something about that. And so Chris didn't wait for someone to tell him what to do, but took the bull by the horns and looked at a park that was being used, and not used to the highest and best use, and that was down on 84 Willow Street, where there was both tennis and basketball that was being played there, and the area had been, there were flooding issues that were going on, and it turned out to be a great place to convert that once park that was used for tennis and basketball and was in need of repair into an area that could become a skate park. Working with the redevelopment authority and working with finding some funds, Chris took the initiative to go and seek out a way of combining some community effort of bringing some money in, some businesses in that would help he involved the community in the idea of, you know, if we convert this area to a skate park, will you guys keep it up, and will you help us to upgrade and help us to keep it going? And he was able to do that. So over the course of a very short period of time, working with a whole bunch of different people and a whole bunch of different resources, Chris Simonelli was able to convert a poorly used area into one that has turned out to be really a highlight of our city. I think it's probably the only skate park in the general area, and it was one of the first probably in this area altogether. And so before I leave office, I mentioned that I mentioned to both Chris as well as Michelle Luong, who were both running running for the Ward 7 City Council seat, that what my intention was, but that I intentionally wanted to hold off in doing anything so it didn't give the appearance of my endorsing either one of the candidates. I wanted that not to interfere, but this is the right time for it, whether Chris Simonelli won the seat for the Ward 7 City Council or lost. He was the guy that did all this work to bring the skate park to its conclusion as it is now, and so I just think this is the right time to do that. And I asked for your support, councilors, to, that we name what we refer to as the skate park, the Christopher Simonelli Skate Park. That's my comment.
I don't know who my name is, but I'll make that motion to pass the resolve.
I think that Councilor Sika said that she makes the motion that we pass that resolve.
Paul seconded it.
And we have a second from Councilor Condon. Councilor Murphy?
Yes, thank you.
I got to figure out where you, see, you're called empty seat according to this.
Well,
Go ahead, Councilor Murphy.
okay. No, I just wanted to say, I'm really glad to see this coming before us. And, when you speak about this skate park, I'm on the other side of the city. I'm on the Melrose Malden line and had two boys who weren't skateboarders. They were rollerbladers. And this park is multi-use, and I can tell you, I've sat down there many, many hours watching the boys rollerblade, bringing their friends down there to either skateboard or rollerblade. It definitely is a park that is used, by the whole city to this day, and still, active. And as you go down there, you can see children enjoying it and just really, staying out of trouble because they have something to do. So it was a great move on Mr. Simonelli's part, and I'm very happy to see this this resolve brought before us. So I'm full support of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, I know as I go up and down Willow Street, I was impressed that this happened, and it's always been a very successful and highly used park. So I really appreciate Chris having taken that leadership when he did, and look forward to with the upcoming term of following up on the great work that Councilor Anderson and I on doing some planning for the future of Tartikoff Park, and seeing maybe we can even take it to another level. So great, thank you.
Okay. So we do have a motion and a second on this. I will tell you that I have spoken with the Commissioner of the Public Works, former Councilor Bill Coleman, because this is an action that has to be approved by the DPW Commission. And so our positive vote on this evening will refer this to the DPW Commission, and they will take it up, and if need be, I'll be speaking before them as well. So on the motion to pass this resolve, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. That resolve is passed. Next order of business.
Order that the sum of paper 53521, order that the sum of $512,160 be the same is hereby transferred from salary reserve 0010-996-5110 to firefighter salaries 0010-220-5120.
On the paper, Councilor Murphy.
Yes, I'm actually going to refer this to finance, but just so everyone knows what it is, there has been an agreement reached in an MOU put forth between the fire department and the city of Malden that covers fiscal year 21, 22, and 23. The money that you see here actually applies to fiscal year retro 21 and this year 22. And there are a number of different parts to this contract negotiation that we can discuss in more detail at the finance meeting, but it's a 2% raise. Also has to do with EMT stipends and hazardous duty payment. So we can go into more detail about the costs and the price associated with each of those in finance. So I'll make a motion to refer this to finance, please.
On the motion to refer the paper to finance, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. That paper is referred to finance. Next order of business.
Paper 536-21, be it hereby ordained that the revised ordinances of 2020 be amended as follows. Amending section 2.24.080 of firefighter's salary schedule.
On the paper, Councilor Spadafora.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just general housekeeping and protocol. So we usually, when we give any raise, we have to match that financial paper with the ordinance paper. So we'll send them in two separate paths, but this way it's at least an ordinance. So refer the fireman's salary up ordinance change to ordinance. So when the finance meets and approves that, then we can go to ordinance and update the ordinance so they match in order to update the pay scale for the fire department.
So on Councilor Spadafora's motion that we refer this to ordinance,
Correct, Mr. President. Yep.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That paper is referred to ordinance. Next order of business. I'm going to take out of order, if I may, councilors, the paper on redistricting, paper 53921. I'm doing that because our former city clerk, who has been so diligent in helping us craft up these very complicated situation, has a need to, since she's living on the other side of the world, out in the west coast of this country, and is here to help us out, I'd like to move this paper to the docket for us to discuss now. So let's move on paper 53921. Committee report.
Redistricting Committee, paper number 468-20, order that the City Council adopt the amended redistricting map V2D.
So the chair of that committee is Councilor O'Malley, who is not here. So speaking on that will be Councilor DeMaria.
Thank you, Mr. President. And all of us received from Clerk Lucy on November 18th a proposed adjustment to the map, which does not adjust any of the lines that are there, but basically adjusts the precinct lines between 4-2 and 4-3. There is no other change. So I would like to propose an amendment to accept that as Clerk Lucy sent to us. And certainly, if you have any questions, I'll certainly try to answer them.
Looks like Councilor Condon's light is on. Councilor
No,
Condon?
that was on before.
On before? On Councilor Lenahan's second to that motion, and Councilor Kamala is...
Just a clarification question.
Yours was the second?
No, I have something I want to ask, something I want to say. No, I have a comment, discussion.
Your light, you're all fired up there.
All right, so, no, I just wanted to...
According to this, you're Dave Senatella.
Well, at least I got the Dave right.
Yeah, you got the Dave right.
Right, better than empty seat. So just want to double check, this is the version that keeps the state reps where they are, adjusts for all the many, many constraints that a lot of admiration for the folks who rolled their sleeves up and did it, and then has those small number of sub-precincts to balance that out for the state reps. Is that correct?
Yes.
Just want to double check all that?
That is correct.
That is
Yes.
correct. Thank you, just for clarification, so it was many, many, many maps, and I just want anybody who's listening who is not keeping as close score to know exactly which one we're talking about. Thank you.
Councilor Murphy, you have your light on?
Yes, I do. So I just want to, Ms. Anderson, so this map it's just the change around Autumn Street off of Mount Vernon? Is that what Councilor DeMaria was just referring to? Is the only change? Is it taking that little block off of Mount Vernon and updating it?
Karen, can you come forward?
Did not change any ward lines. So the ward lines where 4 and 5 meet have not been changed. It only changes the precinct lines within Ward 4.
But from moving that little block, it's the result of
That-
moving that little block on lower Mount Vernon,
Yes,
It
that was,
back into
that was
4.
moved.
and it created a problem with the count between the precincts?
No. The version that you looked at last week had already moved that block. and all the wards and precincts were in balance. Councilor O'Malley wanted to straighten out some of his precinct lines
Okay,
in order to allow, I think his issue was voting at the senior center. And there would be, he tried to make a more rational precinct line
okay.
so that people in this area would all vote at the senior center.
Okay, thank you.
So just for clarification, so it's not, we haven't changed any of the ward lines. We're just making sure that people in that area all are able to vote at the same place. Okay? Any questions, any concerns about that? So the motion here now is, we're going to, what is the technical term we're going to use here, Mr. Clerk?
So we're amending map V2D, and the new map will be V2E, just with these minor changes to Ward 4. Like Karen said, there's no ward boundaries changed, it's just a couple of changes just to make more people more access to be near the polling locations.
Okay. Okay. So on Councilor DeMaria's motion to amend in accordance with the committee report. Let's accept the, okay, so I'm advised, let's accept the committee report. On Councilor DeMaria's motion that we accept.
Shouldn't Council Spatafora or I, Count- Council DeMaria is not on the committee.
Then who is it that's on the committee that would like to move the motion to the committee report?
I'll leave it to the senior, I'll leave it to the senior counselor, Council Spatafora.
On Councilor Spatafora's motion that we receive the committee report, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The committee report is received. On Councilor DeMaria's motion that we accept the recommendation that was made to change in accordance with Councilor O'Malley's concern.
To make it easier, the new map will be called V2D.
You can just speak into the microphone,
Okay.
and that's what it'll be.
I just want to get the numerals right. So you'd be accepting there would be a new map with the minor changes to Ward 4, and the new map would be 2VE.
Everyone clear on that? Any concern about that?
So we're voting on the amendment.
I see a bunch of blank stares, but I don't see any concern being raised.
So the vote's on the amendment.
The vote's on the amendment.
On the amendment. Councilor Winslow's light was on for a second, then he turned it off. On the amendment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. On the paper as amended. We need a roll call for that.
Good.
On the paper as amended, the clerk, please call the roll. Councilor Winslow.
My comment is not to change any lines, but on the sub-precincts, I would like the sub-precincts to be labeled not A, B, or C, but with the state rep designation, like 33 or 35. Is that, I just think it would be more clear for everybody. I don't know if Clerk Lucy has any thoughts on that. But that we're not changing any of the precincts or anything, but the way they're labeled, so that if you're in, Ward 5, then that precinct has, rather than just being sub-precinct A, it's sub-precinct, what is Keith's, it would be labeled with the state rep district. So that would just be my suggestion, so.
Clerk, please.
Thank you. We did run that by the Secretary of State's office. They advised not to do it because it's too many digits, so it fouls up the... All right. We tried. We did try for you. We did.
So on the paper as amended, the clerk will call the roll.
Kamel.
Well, yes.
Condon. Crow. Yes. DeMaria. Linehan.
Yes.
Murphy. Sika. Spatafora. Winslow. Anderson.
Anderson, yes. So the redistricting map has been approved by the city council.
It will get sent into the state tomorrow, and then hopefully they'll have to re-vote on it, and we strongly feel that they'll approve it.
Okay,
Thank you for everyone's work on this, by the way.
thank you. Thank you for everyone's work. Karen in particular, coming all the way from the West Coast to help us out with this.
And Steve Farmer and Carol Ann.
Steve
and-
Farmer.
yeah.
How about a round of applause for all those that helped us with this very difficult process? Okay. Next order of business.
Paper 541-21, Communication. Council President Anderson will announce the names of the committee members of the Committee of the Future of Maplewood Square.
Okay, so there was a paper asking that we establish a committee to deal with the future of Maplewood Square. And I've asked the councilors so affected if they would make their recommendations, and I'm here to announce this evening that that committee will consist of, as its chair, Councilor Winslow, also Councilor from Ward 6, Councilor Dave Kamel, Councilor from Ward 5, Barbara Murphy. The business representative will be Gabriel Tiberio, 29 Monroe Street. The city planner, Michelle Romero, will be on that committee, and Kate Marie Roycroft of 23 Havelock Street will be the resident member. And that is the makeup of that committee. Any comment that you'd like to make on that, Councilor Winslow?
I'm just looking forward to having the community discussion led by this committee to really think about all the challenges Maplewood Square faces. I mean, it's, I think we know the community is very interested in making sure Maplewood Square remains a vital neighborhood business district, and how we go forward is the question. So looking forward to forming the committee. Even, maybe having a festival is one of the first things we tackle, and just really bringing back that Maplewood spirit. And also, the map we voted on will be welcoming Ward 5 as part of Maplewood Square, because one part of Maplewood Square will now be part of Ward 5. So I'm looking to work with Ward 5 and Ward 6 residents on the future of their neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Okay, next order of business.
We have a committee report 537-21 from the License Committee. Accept that we receive the report, and then if you will let me know how you want to do all these licenses, there's about 40 of them.
I'd like to do them in blocks.
Okay.
So on Councilor Condon's motion that we receive the committee report, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Committee report is received. Councilor Condon for the committee.
This last week, we met with our compliance people, went over these licenses. I would ask that the city clerk take them in blocks. For instance, the amusement licenses and, the different areas.
City clerk, please.
Paper 475-21, amusement license, Dockside, 229 Center Street, 6 machines. Paper 476-21, amusement license, Malden Veterans of Irish Ancestry, Inc., 177 West Street, 4 machines, it's a renewal. Paper 477-21, amusement license, Flaming Grill Buffet, 12 Broadway, 3 machines, it's a renewal. Paper 478-21, amusement license, Provo Corp., DBA Patrick's and Franny's, 36-40 Lebanon Street, 3 machines, it's a renewal. Paper 479-21, amusement license, Italian American War Veterans, Post 16, 40 Oakland Street, renewal, it's a 4 machines. Paper 480-21, amusement machine, Town Line 10 Pin Corp., 665 Broadway, Malden, it's 25 machines, it's a renewal.
Councilor Condon.
Yes, we met with, like I said, we met with our compliance people who are very familiar with each of these businesses, and without reservation, they recommended that we grant these licenses.
On Councilor Condon's motion that we grant these licenses as read, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Those licenses have been granted. Next order of business?
Paper 481-21, extended hours, Dunkin' Donuts, 617 Broadway, renewal. Extended up, paper 482-21, extended hours, Walgreens, 185 Center Street, 24 hours, renewal. Paper 483-21, extended hours, Dunkin' Donuts, 424 Main Street, it's a renewal. Extended hours, paper 484-21, Dunkin' Donuts, 57 Eastern Ave, it's a renewal. Paper 485-21, extended hours, Dunkin' Donuts, 200 Commercial Street, it's a renewal. Paper 486-21, extended hours, Dunkin' Donuts, 245 Pleasant Street, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., it's a renewal. And paper 487-21, extended hours, L&K Billiard Pool Hall, 94B Pleasant Street, it's a renewal, 12 o'clock p.m. to 11:45 p.m.
Councilor Condon for the paper.
Once again, the compliance officers weighed in on these licenses. Everything seemed to be in order. They recommended that we grant these licenses.
On the motion to grant, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, say nay. Those licenses will be granted. Next order of business?
Paper 488-21, petition, Class 2, Rio Auto Group Corp., DBA Dealer 1 Motors, 77 Broadway, 48 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 485-21, Class 2, Champa Auto Body, 322 Eastern Ave, 4 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 490-21, Class 2, Frank's Auto Sales, 189 Highland Ave, 4 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 491-21, Class 2, Greenleaf Auto, Inc., 28 Broadway, 50 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 492-21, Class 2, River Auto Sales, Inc., 77 Eastern Ave, 21 cars, it's a renewal. Previously had a license for 25 vehicles, now 21, new plot plan submitted. Paper 493-21, Class 2, Cullen Brothers, Inc., 61 Clinton Street, 2 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 494-21, Class 2, GP Motorcycle Supply, 420 Broadway, 4 motorcycles, it's a renewal. Paper 495-21, Class 2, Maxima Auto Sale Corp., 105 Broadway, 31 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 496-21, Class 2, Next Level Motors, Inc., 189 Eastern Ave, 35 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 497-21, Class 2, Broadway Auto Sales, 628 Broadway, 0 cars, it's a renewal. Paper 498-21, Class 2, McMillan Automotive, 388 Eastern Ave, 15 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 499-21, Class 2, AGM Auto Sales, 160 Eastern Ave, 24 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 501-21, Class 2, Scott M. Fitzpatrick, DBA Wentworth Auto Sales, 730 Eastern Ave, Suite 091B, renewal, 15 vehicles. Paper 502-21, Class 2, Hub Starters and Alterations, Inc., 172 Broadway, 4 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 503-21, Class 2, Lewis Foreign Car Garage, Inc., 191 Salem Street, renewal, 2 cars. Paper 504-21, Class 2, Malden Middlesex Motor Sales, Inc., 129 Charles Street, it's a renewal. Paper 505-21, Class 3, Malden Middlesex Motor Sales, 129 Charles Street, it's a renewal. And paper 506-21, petition, Class 3, Malden Broadway Auto Body, 590 Broadway, it's a renewal.
Councilor Condon for the paper.
Yes, once again, we discussed these licenses with our compliance officers who made sure everything was up to snuff and recommended that these licenses also be granted.
On the motion to grant, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, say nay. Those licenses are granted. Next order of business?
Paper 538-21, Committee Report, Rules and Ordinance. Paper 383-21. Order, alternative 1, be it hereby ordained that Section 12 of the revised ordinance of 2020, effective 1/1/20, be amended by amending Section 12.030, use regulation to indicate that warehouse and wholesale distribution uses are not allowable uses in business highway. Order alternative 2, be it hereby ordained that Section 12 of the revised ordinance of 2020, effective 1/1/20, be amended by striking out the first 3 lines of Section 12.12.010, paragraph B, and replacing that with the following, see attached.
On Councilor Spadafora's motion that we receive the committee report, all those in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Committee report is received. Councilor Spadafora for the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The ordinance committee and the planning board met on this paper. We discussed it last week in ordinance. It was voted out to, we took the planning board's recommendation to no longer allow, indicate that warehouses and wholesale distributions are not allowed in highway business zone, and that, what are we doing? Oh, the new one, thank you. So the planning board's recommendation was to approve the amendment to prohibit wholesale and distribution as proposed. They did disapprove of all the other ones. The committee met in council and agreed on the planning board's recommendation. I would ask the sponsor if he wants to speak on the paper. Council Winslow.
Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, I mean, this is to, the planning board had comments about, particularly that the original proposal was to look at not allowing both warehousing and wholesale and distribution in highway business. They recommended that warehousing continue to be allowed by special permit. So this would just be eliminating wholesaling and distribution as allowable in highway business. Their comment was generally that those wholesaling and distribution things can generate a lot more traffic and issues than warehousing. So the Rules and Ordinance Committee accepted those recommendations. The other recommendations, just to make sure this was applied to any permits after the date of notification, was posted about the hearing of the joint hearing. So we accepted that recommendation as well. So yeah.
Thank you, Councilor. On Councilor Spadafora's motion to enroll the ordinance as amended. Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Condon. Yes. Crow. Yes. DeMaria. Yes. Linehan. Yes. Murphy. Seeker. Yes. Spadafora.
Spadafor, yes.
Winslow. Anderson.
Anderson, yes. That motion is enrolled. Next order of business.
The docket is clear.
Councilor Winslow.
I know there's table paper 41621, and I know we did get some feedback from Building Inspector Nelson Miller on that. So I don't know if Chair Linehan would want to take that paper off the table so we can refer that back to property. Do we want to?
I was hoping to do it next time, in 2 weeks.
Okay, do we want to discuss it in a committee meeting first and then just
Counselor-
untable and send it back to committee, or what do we want to do?
Councilor Linehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I had asked the clerk if we should send it to committee to discuss and then bring back. And the recommendation is that we should untable it next time after having a chance to review the language with Nelson.
Okay.
And it did not need to go to committee. So the goal would be for is it December 7th is our next meeting? That was my goal, to untable it, to be able to review the language, which I appreciate you drafting and sending.
Okay.
Not to delay it, we're actually well beyond when we should have approved it, but I want to just do the due diligence with Nelson and make sure the language is adequate.
Okay, all right, so, no, I just was questioning. All right, that's fine, thank you, great.
Okay. So the, no action on this, okay. The docket is clear. Personal privilege, anyone requesting personal privilege? Anyone going to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving? Who's going to be the first to say that? Councilor DeMaria wants to do that.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to wish everyone that's watching this evening, my fellow colleagues, a very blessed Thanksgiving, and a reminder that they are serving meals out of Bread of Life out of our Malden High School on Thursday morning, and all are welcome to a nice warm meal, as well as many other places that are serving delicious turkey dinners. So I hope everyone enjoys their holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Is there anyone else Councilor Seeker.
Thank you, Council President. I too would like to wish everybody a healthy and a happy holiday this Thursday. Councilor SPADAFORA and I spent the morning passing out, getting a delivery of 240 turkeys to the Bread of Life. There almost wasn't a Thanksgiving dinner this Thursday because we didn't have the community members that usually step up to cook these turkeys for our guests on Thursday. So as of last Thursday, we had only 43 people, and we need about 180 cooked turkeys for that meal to take place on Thursday. So I had somebody reach out to Craig and I this past Thursday to ask if we needed donations for the fridges, and we're looking to give us an abundance of turkeys. So I reached out to the Bread of Life, and who knew they were in need of 180 turkeys, plus 60 for them to be able to give out meals tomorrow. Without the donation that we received this morning, I don't think we would have had enough food to feed the people that showed up to Malden High on Thursday, and anybody that showed up at the Bread of Life to the food pantry tomorrow, nobody was getting a turkey. So kudos to Councilor SPADAFORA. We worked with Gladys Vega from La Collaborative in Chelsea to get this done. She reached out regarding the fridges. She thinks they're amazing and was figuring out a way that she could help us with this turkey dinner, and we've accomplished that. It was a great day. I also stopped by the warming center to drop off bags of shoes. The warming center is doing a shoe drive, so if anybody is cleaning out their closets over the next couple of weeks, they're in need of about 2,500 pairs of shoes to make the drive a success, and they'll raise over $1,000 for the center. So if anybody has any shoes, they can drop them off at 529 Eastern Ave at the First Nazarene Church, or they can get in touch with me, Councilor SPADAFORA. I'm sure anybody would be more than willing to take a donation over to Jerry and Ellen at the warming center. And then also, I would like to have a moment of silence. I had a member of Ward 8, a longtime member of Ward 8 yesterday, pass away, Mr. Jim Terrell. He is also the father of Terry Ippolito, who is a long, loyal employee of the Malden Police Department. His son Brett is on our Malden Fire Department. Jim was also the Malden Auxiliary Police Chief for 50 years. He retired from that position. I grew up with Jim. He and I both lived on Springdale Street, so I've known the family as long as I can remember, and they're an amazing Malden family, and I would like to have a moment of silence for him.
Moment of silence, please. All stand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Condon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to wish all the constituents. Am I on? Okay. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all the residents a very happy Thanksgiving. And if you're traveling, please be safe. And with that, I'll pass it on to the next councilor.
Well, I do want to thank Councilor Spatafor and Councilor Seeker for their work on the turkeys. I know my wife will be cooking one of those tomorrow and for the Thursday dinner, so we picked up on that right away, so appreciate that work. I want to thank the Greater Boston Mental Health Association and Mystic Valley Elderly who hosted a breakfast this morning at 630 Salem Street, which was very nice and just good to see the residents there. And I spoke about, this is actually, want to wish everybody a good Thanksgiving. I mentioned that this is actually the 400th anniversary this year of Thanksgiving. And I always reflect on it because, Winslows were at that first Thanksgiving, and my distant uncle, Edward Winslow, was one of the people who wrote about it. And I think I have their perspective this year is that You have to think of the Native Americans who had gone through a pandemic that wiped out their villages just before that, and the English who had come through and half their members had died over the winter of 1620. And to think that within less than a year, just like with COVID, that they were able to come and embrace and thank God and everyone for the goodwill and food. So that's just something that I think is particularly touching this year as we're coming out of COVID. And maybe last Thanksgiving, people weren't able to get together, but maybe with your family, you will get together more. So enjoy that time and that spirit that even after hard times, it's important to come together and remember the importance of that and going forward in good spirit as we come out of COVID. So that's that. And also, I just wanted to remind folks, we talk about the future of Maplewood Square. There's a meeting next Wednesday, December 1st at 6 p.m. The Historic Commission is having about proposals to demolish part of Maplewood Square, so I'm really encouraging people to come out. It's about respecting our past, but also thinking about how that future goes forward. So I encourage my fellow councilors to come out and speak about the importance of preserving Maplewood Square as a neighborhood business district, and my fellow residents of Maplewood to come out and speak to make sure that the Historic Commission designates these buildings as preferably preserved, and that alternatives must be found to demolishing these buildings that are at the heart of Maplewood Square. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. It's definitely one of my favorite holidays. But I did, Councilor Secret, if you wouldn't mind just expanding on the shoe drive, just so that people know they don't necessarily have to be new shoes. They have to be gently worn. Can they be children's shoes? What exactly? Because when we think of the warming center, we think of adults, but this is actually a drive where these shoes are actually going to another facility, correct?
Correct.
So maybe you could just explain so people would
Sure
understand
thing,
what they
yep.
could bring.
The shoe drive is actually, they're going to raise money from the shoes that they receive, so that's why there's a number of 2,500 shoes that they are in need of. They can be gently worn, they could be new, they can be used, all sizes, all seasons. Children are allowed. I did drop off a bunch of children's shoes today as well. While I was there, just a little that I forgot to mention earlier, they are in need of coats. They thought they had an abundance of coats, so they donated them to other organizations in the city, and the past few days as they've been getting the room ready with the coat racks and everything, they realized that they have enough for the first few weeks, but they're not quite sure, how many more they're gonna need. So if anybody has any old coats, gently used, new, whatever, the warming center will also take those as well. So thank you for mentioning that, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilor Seeger. Councilor Murphy, is that it?
That's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Linehan.
That's my bad. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I also wish to say a happy Thanksgiving for everybody celebrating. I also wanted to just invite the community this Saturday at 6 p.m. at Fellsmere Pond. Councilor Spadafora and the mayor's office and I will be hosting a tree lighting with music and hot chocolate and surprise visit from Santa. So come on down, it's open to the public and should be a really good time. We weren't able to quite do it the same way last year because of the pandemic, but hoping to have it be a little bit more festive this year. And so that's Saturday at 6 at the pond. And the other thing I just wanted to mention is that our community holiday drive, Merry Malden, is going to be back this year for the second time. So I'm happy to announce that we're taking requests in from the community. We already have almost 80 so far. So if you or you know someone who's in need of help with new winter clothing or holiday gifts for your family, please reach out to us. The email address is marymalden2021@gmail.com. And if you're looking to donate or help, we already have a lot of very generous donors lined up already, but we can always use more. Please reach out to that same address and you'll be matched to a need in the community. We hope to have a bin in City Hall where folks can drop off donations, and the deadline for requesting that help is going to be Sunday, December 12th. by email. So if you can get those requests in by December 12th, it's all handled very discreetly, anonymously, so please, encourage anybody that you know who may need the help to reach out. It's kept very private, and those matches will be made the week after the 12th with distribution December 18th and 19th. And I did want to point out that if folks need help with Hanukkah gifts, we are going to accommodate that earlier deadline too, so please reach out if you need help with Hanukkah gifts as well. And I think that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Spadafora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to extend happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you get to spend time with your friends and family. Certainly, hopefully, a different year with, we think COVID's a little bit abated, but it is starting to creep up again. But certainly, spend some time with your friends and family. Can't believe we got this far without mentioning any football games. So everybody who, we have a lot of high schools in the city, so a lot of football games going on. So hopefully, we're all supporting, Malden in one way or the other. I do want to mention, Councilor Leanne did touch upon the tree lighting ceremony in Ward 3. It's been a great tradition. Trees been up. I want to thank the Malden DPW and Bobby Knox. Every year they put that up and take it down, and miraculously it works. This year there's got a couple of small repairs, but we'll get that lit in time for some visit. And then it is certainly the season of giving. Last year, the Malden Fire Department, Malden Police Department, as well as we put the City Council's name on this as well. This year is hosting a toy drive. The toy drive they're accepting donations up till December 18th. There are 2 drop-off locations. Malden Police Headquarters, which is at 800 Eastern Ave, and also at the Malden Fire Department Headquarters, which is 1 Sprague Street. And that list, using technology, the Amazon toy drive, people can go on there, request it, and they can see what's fulfilled. So people can track that, is actually on the Malden Police Department's Facebook webpage. So it's easy. You don't have to get out of your house to buy the toys, but they will accept it, like I said, at both the Malden Fire Department and Malden Police Department location. They do request that to be unwrapped because they do kind of sort them out inside their community room there based on age groups. But please, if you have a moment and any extra money, I know there's a lot of organizations this year. It'd be great to put some gifts underneath some kids' trees this year. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. From the chair, a couple of things I'd like to mention. You did mention the tree lighting, Councilor Spadafora. There will be no holiday parade this year, but Ward 7 is going to have Santa Claus one last time with going through the ward. For those of you who don't know, usually the Ward 7 Association has a float in the parade, and I love doing that. And then following that, we take Santa Claus up and down the streets in Ward 7, stopping for the kids and for the parents to say hello to Santa Claus and let Santa Claus hear of the wishes of the children for their Christmas gifts. Over the last couple of years, we've had to modify that. We used to have a trailer, a float that would carry Santa Claus, and even last year we ended up mounting Santa Claus on the back of a pickup truck, high above the pickup truck, so that the kids could see Santa Claus and walk up and have a picture of them visiting with Santa Claus. We've got to try to do that again. At the same time, I'm hoping to have a unity in Ward 7 of all of the candidates that ran, those that won and those that lost. Maybe we can have a unity like maybe not like the Crow Supper, but at least everyone get together and we all enjoy Santa Claus going through the neighborhood as my swan song as I fade off into the sunset. I want to mention, I saw the announcement from the chief of police that Officer Langston was injured on detail and got hit by a car, I think it was, and want to wish him a speedy recovery and hope that he's doing well now. And also, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of one of our newest assistant city solicitors. Alicia McNeil hasn't been acknowledged by the public yet, and she's here in the audience, one of our attorneys who's just come on board. Alicia, would you stand up so we can say hello to Alicia McNeil, one of our assistant city solicitors who's doing a fine job for us here. We've already acknowledged the counselor-elect, Carrie McDonald, who's been here. I think Karen Cologne Hayes was here earlier, and Chris Simonelli, who will be, all three of those are the new councils that will be coming on board as of January. And with that, everyone else has said Happy Thanksgiving. And do you have to go to the bathroom? Is that what that is, Council? Huh?
If I may, I
Go
know
ahead,
this is,
Councilor
this is
Murphy.
at the end, but it was just something Councilor Winslow asked me a few minutes ago, and I think we probably should just state for anyone listening. Everyone probably realizes by now that yard waste pickup is kind of delayed across the city. JRM has staffing problems. The overabundance of leaves coming down at the same time is causing a lot of problems. So I know ICC Click Fix there is just C-Click Fix after C-Click Fix of missed yard waste pickup. I would basically say to anyone listening tonight, this will continue for the next couple of weeks through the end of yard waste pickup. So just leave your yard waste out there. They will eventually get to it. As an example, I put mine out Thursday morning. It got picked up Saturday afternoon. So just be patient where yard waste pickup is concerned. So.
Very good.
You pulled Justin before they came, yeah. So just leave it out there for anyone listening. It eventually will get picked up. So, thank you.
Okay. On the motion on Councilor Murphy's motion that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. We will stand adjourned.
So you really did bring it in?